Basi kwa maradi kabisa contingent ya kwanza ambayo itapita mbele ya Mheshimiwa Rais imeondoka. Mheshimiwa Rais, watakaopita mbele yako ni hawa wanatoka katikati mwa uwanja. Basi Mheshimiwa Rais, vikundi 6 vikiwa vimeondoka, kuna vikundi vingine vitaungana nao akisha kupita mbele yako Mheshimiwa Rais. So naomba tafadhali tuangalie watatokea sehemu gani ya uwanja huu. Basi kwa maridadi kikundi cha kwanza akipita mbele ya Mheshimiwa Rais kiongozwa naye Superintendent Hesbon Kuria akisaidiwa na Chief Inspector Pamela Simiu, Platoon Commander akiwa Inspector Benson Biwot. Platoon Senior Sergeant akiwa Rebecca Opio. Maridadi kabisa kikipita kikundi cha 6 kiliyochangulia kutoka. Vinavyofyata ni vile vikundi viliungana na wenzao hapo baadaye. Maridadi kabisa, gwaride limebadilika kutoka mwendo wa kinyonga hadi mwendo wa kasi. Basi Mheshimiwa Rais, katikati mwa uwanja ni vikundi 6. Upande wangu wa kulia vitatokea vikundi vingine 6. Kisha kuna vikundi 12 vitaungana na hizi vikundi viwili. Pia naomba tuangalie kwa makini watatokea upande gani wakiungana na wenzao. Basi kikundi cha 6 kikitokea upande wa katikati mwa uwanja. Upande wangu wa kulia kuna vikundi vingine 6. Basi kwa maridadi kabisa kikundi cha kwanza kikipita mbele ya Mheshimiwa Rais. Basi maridadi kabisa kikundi kilichotoka katikati, vile vikundi 6. Tunaanza kikundi cha 7. Basi Mheshimiwa Rais, kinachopita ni kikundi cha 12. Tunaanza kikundi cha 13. Basi kwa maridadi kabisa kikundi cha 24. Ni wakati wa kiapo cha utii ambako tutaongozwa nao wakuu wa madhehebu yetu. Karibuni.
Oath of office.
I do hereby swear by Almighty God that I will faithfully bear true allegiance to the President as the Commander-in-Chief of the Kenya Defence Forces and to the Republic of Kenya, that I will faithfully serve the President and the Republic as an officer of the National Youth Service, that I will obey all laws and lawful orders, regulations, directions and instructions concerning the National Youth Service, and I will discharge all the duties of an officer of the National Youth Service according to the law, without fear, favor, affection, or ill will. So help me God.
Mheshimiwa Rais, kwa idhini yako naomba nichukue nafasi hii kumkaribisha mkuu wa chuo hiki Abi Lois Koech apate kufungua kwa hotuba yake fupi, kisha kuendelea na ratiba iliyosalia. Madam Commandant, karibu.
Your Excellency, Honorable William Samoei Ruto, PhD, CGH, President of the Republic of Kenya and Commander-in-Chief of Kenya Defence Forces, Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Public Service, Performance and Delivery Management, Honorable Moses Kuria, Chairman, National Youth Service Council, Lieutenant General Retired Njuki Mwaniki, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Your Excellency, may I take this opportunity to welcome you to National Youth Service Paramilitary Academy, Gilgil. It is now my humble duty to welcome the Director General, National Youth Service, to make his remarks. DG, sir, please.
Your Excellency, Honorable Dr. William Samoei Ruto, PhD, CGH, President of the Republic of Kenya and Commander-in-Chief of the Defence Forces, Cabinet Secretary, Public Service, Performance and Delivery, Principal Secretaries present, the Governor, Nakuru County, the Chairman, NYS Council, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Your Excellency, sir, it gives me immense pleasure to welcome you to National Youth Service. Before you are 10,521 graduates, comprising of 6,861 servicemen and 3,660 servicewomen, including 47 persons living with disability. Your Excellency, these graduates have passed the rigors of paramilitary training and are ready to move to the next phase of the National Youth Service Program. With your permission, sir, may I now invite Cabinet Secretary, Honorable Moses Kuria to give his remarks and continue with the rest of the program. CS, please.
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya and the Commander-in-Chief of the Kenya Defense Forces, the Chairman of the Council of the National Youth Service, Director General and all the Council members, the Governor of the County of Nakuru, Her Excellency Susan Kihika, Members of Parliament led by the Chair of the Committee for Social Protection, Honorable Alice Nganga, servicemen, servicewomen, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It is my pleasure to invite you, Excellency, as you join us in this very important milestone in the calendar of the National Youth Service. If there is a true embodiment of the bottom-up agenda, it is the National Youth Service. The 10,000 servicemen and women who are graduating today from the paramilitary service training are drawn from all the 1,450 wards of the Republic of Kenya, meaning that we are truly the face of Kenya and truly the embodiment of the bottom-up economic transformation agenda. Your Excellency, the National Youth Service is based on 4 pillars that we are implementing. And what is in front of you today is pillar number 1 on the paramilitary training and regimentation. Regimentation because in the National Youth Service, we believe that by working together in groups, it builds discipline, the right ethos and values, and also it gives us a chance to instill a sense of patriotism. After here, we will now go to the next steps in that journey of the National Youth Service through the second pillar of national service, where these wonderful young men and women will be deployed to carry out several tasks in assisting our nation building. Our third pillar, Your Excellency, is based on technical and vocational training, where we are already working with the technical and vocational education training institution in further deepening the skill base and the technical base of the graduates who are in front of you today. And the fourth pillar, for which you have been extremely supportive as we embark on our engineering agenda, is a pillar of commercialization, where we say that other than just building a cadre of young men and women who are going to play a very pivotal role in nation building and rebuilding our country, that we can also create a service that is sustainable, that we do not have to come all the time and seek exchequer support. Your Excellency, from the support that you are giving us in kicking off our transformation agenda under the NYS Reengineering Program, we want to promise you that in the passing out parade of the year 2025, we look forward to actually giving you a dividend check, having employed young people and having deployed them to useful commercial purposes and ensuring that we have an NYS that is self-sustaining, that can be able to also expand and include more young people in that service. Your Excellency, let me take this opportunity to very briefly thank your officers whom you have appointed for the overwhelming support that they have given us to involve the National Youth Service in several aspects of our nation building so that we can be able to absorb even more young people. I just want to cite some state departments who have come forward and agreed to your clarion call to support the National Youth Service. The State Department for Water and Sanitation, who have committed to involve the National Youth Service in building small dams and actually expanding the existing ones, desilting the ones that are not usable anymore, so that the National Youth Service can be at the forefront in ensuring that the country is self-reliant in matters of water. State Department for Irrigation, with whom we are already working in some areas, building 25 kilometers of a canal in the Tana Delta, ensuring that we participate in the irrigation of up to 10,000 acres that we are going to put into active use to also help our country in matters of food security. State Department for Wildlife, the Principal Secretary for Wildlife, Sylvia Musia, is here, who are involving the National Youth Service in building water ponds within our national parks and ensuring that we actually reduce the deployment cycle as opposed to the traditional way that we have been doing this job. State Department for Crops Development, who have already, we had a very successful exercise in the last 6 weeks where we have been harvesting maize seedlings in Kitale, in the ADC farm Kitale, and the CEO of ADC is here with us, where we have harvested 6,000 acres of maize seedlings that would have otherwise gone into waste. And by the way, we are not doing this for free. The Kenya Seed Company has come here with a check of 13.5 million shillings to pay these young people for our sweat. Just an example of one and many more things that we are going to do to make this service truly, truly sustainable. Your Excellency, the State Department for ASAL and Regional Development, who have come forward to involve the National Youth Service in building of the dams, and especially in mitigation at this time when we are grappling with the effects of El Nino. The National Youth Service and the State Department for ASAL, alongside our other discipline forces within the National Police Forces and the Kenya Defense Force, are right in the forefront of ensuring we have got mitigation from the current El Nino. State Department for Forestry has been very, very, very supportive. Already, all our 22 units within the National Youth Service has been allocated a forest, which we have adopted, and we are embarking in the process of planting trees, each unit covering its own forest. To date, just within this season, we have planted up to 1.3 million trees, and our ambition is that before the end of this financial year, we are going to plant 200 million trees across the country as we try to also mitigate the effects of the climate change. And again, we are not just doing this as an act of charity. Working with international climate organizations, during the ongoing COP28, we managed to get partnership from the Global Center for Adaptation, from the Africa Finance Corporation, who have agreed to make the National Youth Service a center of excellence in matters of climate adaptation, climate mitigation and resilience, and more importantly, in monetizing the trees that we plant and all the other interventions we make in offsetting carbon credits from those people who are polluting our environment. Your Excellency, the Kenya School of Government, which is also within our ministry, is going to build a new campus in Vihiga to the tune of 800 million shillings, a project that will be undertaken exclusively by the National Youth Service so that we can continue to employ even more young people. And because we are expecting the Kenya School of Government to have a very huge demand, because we are introducing mandatory training for all public servants in the bottom-up economic transformation agenda. So to be able to expand our capacity, we have called upon the National Youth Service to come and help us in this agenda. Huduma Kenya is another state body that we want to fight against within our ministry. And working with our members of parliament, and I have here today the chairman of the parliamentary committee on the National CDF, Honorable Musa Silma, and the chair of the National CDF board, Honorable Olago Alwood, who have, in a very remarkable development, in partnership with the Ministry of ICT, where we have merged the concept of the Jitume Center for the digital jobs for our people with our Huduma centers to offer Huduma services in every constituency, funded by the national government CDF, and with the labor being provided exclusively by the National Youth Service so that we can be able to expand the job opportunities for our youth. Your Excellency, State Department for Housing has been very exemplary in this endeavor. all the early works within our affordable housing agenda and within all our markets are being done by the National Youth Service, starting from Eldoret Market, which we are going to start deploying on Monday. And finally, Your Excellency, the National Employment Authority is partnering with the National Youth Service to provide jobs for these young people to go out there and get jobs abroad. As we speak, we've just deployed the first batch of 40 service and men and women who are going to the UK for readily available jobs in the UK. And we have agreed with the State Department for Labor that we are going to have 50% of everybody going to work out there coming from the job and the labor provider number one, which is the National Youth Service. Your Excellency, it can only get better. And we look forward to working with all state departments to ensure that the first provider of labor of choice is the National Youth Service. To achieve this, Your Excellency, as I conclude, we have to do two things. One is just to keep the focus. We intend to keep the focus. Nothing is easy. In the beginning, the plan which your government is rolling out might appear painful as unpalatable to some. And in fact, we might get complaints here and there. I want to encourage you to follow the footsteps of my namesake, Moses of the Bible. When the children of Israel left Egypt and they went into the wilderness, they were crying. And some were even saying, afadhali uturudisha kwa Farao. Na Farao hata alikuwa anawachekelea, anawaambia niliwaambia mtajuta, afadhali mrudi huku. Lakini walipofika huko Canaan, hata hakuna mtu alikubuka ile mashida tulikoa nayo kwa njia. So we are going to keep the focus, because once we cross to the other side, even those people who are making noise today, like the children of Israel, they will not remember the problems that they had in the wilderness. We also intend to be innovative. We have to look for different ways to do things for us to change this country. We cannot do things the same way it has been done and expecting different results. Even the person who invented the car, in the beginning, people were resisting, and they said they don't want the car. They want faster horses. But in the end, today you cannot imagine life without the car. So we will keep the focus. We will try different ways. We will try to be innovative, and we will move and transform and change this country, because that is what the people and God expect of us. And now, Your Excellency, let me take this opportunity to invite the governor of the county of Nakuru, who is our host. Your Excellency, you are sitting in a very interesting ward, the ward where we're sitting today. Last year, on the 9th of August, they went to the ballot to elect 6 people. Out of all those 6 people, you are the only man they elected. The MCA is a woman, the MP is a woman, the senator is a woman, the woman obviously is a woman, and the governor is a woman. So if there might be some constitutional issue around that, which I have told Susan we have to look at it, even as we look at the issue of the 2-third rule, and you are privileged to represent all of us endangered men species in that endeavor. Madam Governor, welcome.
Thank you. Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, Honorable Dr. William Samoei Ruto, also the Commander-in-Chief of the Kenya Defense Forces, Honorable Moses Kuria, the Cabinet Secretary, Public Service Performance and Delivery Management, Principal Secretaries present. We have, Your Excellency, let me recognize the presence of our area MP, Madam Speaker, Mheshimiwa Wangare. Let me also recognize the presence of Honorable Musa Sirma, who is from our neighboring county here and from Eldama Ravine. Recognize the presence of Honorable Alice Nganga, MP Thika. The presence of Honorable Hilary Kosgei, MP Kipkelion West. The presence of our Deputy Speaker of the Senate, the Senator of Meru, Mheshimiwa Kathuri Murongi. and the presence, Your Excellency, of our area MCA, Mheshimiwa Rose. And Mheshimiwa Kuria, sisi ndio tuko, wa mama. Your Excellency, also, let me recognize, the James Tembo, Acting Director General, National Youth Service, Lieutenant General Retired, Mwaneki, the Chairman of the National Youth Service Council, Lois Koech, the Commandant of the NYS Paramilitary Academy, and all the ladies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, and the graduates this morning. Your Excellency, it is my privilege and distinct honor to welcome you to Nakuru County this morning at the pass-out parade of the National Youth Service recruits here at the NYS Paramilitary Academy in Gilgil, Nakuru County. From the onset, Your Excellency, I want to appreciate the very cordial and complimentary manner by which the national government has worked hand in hand with county governments in the discharge of services to the public under their respective mandates as provided for in the Constitution. I want to assure you that we as Nakuru County are committed to working closely with your government as we seek to grow our county. Your Excellency, Nakuru County is proud to be the home of the National Youth Service, a critical institution charged with the duty of empowering young people with knowledge, skills, experience, and values that prepare them to exploit their potential, earn a decent livelihood, and apply enterprise for the betterment of Kenya. I hold the conviction that the training recruits undergo for the 6 months that they're here in this school not only prepares them for the highly competitive job market, but it also equips them with technical know-how to survive and thrive in the job market. I note with great level of appreciation, Your Excellency, that the NYS Paramilitary Academy is famed for training recruits in high-level practical vocational skills that are on demand during the implementation of national development projects, especially those aligned to the bottom-up economic transformation agenda, better, such as affordable housing. Indeed, whereas these projects require adequate training and adequately trained labor force, Your Excellency, the truth is that the majority of our counties, Nakuru included, exist inadequate labor in the market for these very technical skills due to lack of relevant certification. So in the wake of this inadequacy, the county government of Nakuru is working with the State Department of Housing and Vocational Training and agencies such as International Labour Organization, National Industrial Training Authority, and National Construction Authority to train our labor force for certification purposes. More than 3,000 artisans are currently undergoing training in order to benefit from the affordable housing program. This is an area that my government will readily collaborate with the NYS Paramilitary Academy to train our artisans. A program that twins our vocational training centers with the NYS Paramilitary Academy to not only train but prepare a curriculum that currently meets the needs of job market that are highly recommended by our government, Your Excellency. Your Excellency, Nakuru has witnessed the high skills of NYS teams, especially during emergencies in areas outlying this college. More often than not, NYS has helped us with fire engine and water bowsers to handle emergencies here in Gilgil and Naivasha. While we are humbled by this timely assistance at our hour of need, we would like to extend this collaboration to cover our key programs such as drilling of boreholes, drainages along our roads, opening up of feeder roads, graveling of roads, desilting our dams, and these basic programs are the roadblocks of our growth, and we are ready to work with the NYS. To the recruits who are passing out today, the NYS is one of the very great training grounds of our government. And we are very thankful for empowering the youth here today. So congratulations to all of you who are graduating today. And we now welcome you to join us in building our nation, the great nation of Kenya. Asanteni. Thank you very much. It is now my singular honor, singular duty to invite the President of the Republic of Kenya and the Commander-in-Chief of the Kenya Defense Forces. Karibu, Your Excellency. Thank you.
Asante sana, Mheshimiwa. Tafadhali tuketi chini wale mko na viti. Asante sana, Mheshimiwa Gavana wetu wa Nakuru, Mheshimiwa Moses Kuria, Waziri husika, Principal Secretaries present, the leadership of National Youth Service, wazazi wote waliotembea katika sherehe hii ya muhimu, na graduates, distinguished guests. Kwanza mimi nataka nipongeze wasimamizi wa NYS, mwenyekiti, Director General na kamati yote na wale officers wote walioshiriki katika mafunzo ya hawa vijana wetu wa Kenya. And I am glad to be here as we celebrate the achievements of our youth in their preparation to serve their nation and mark another important milestone for the National Youth Service community who have made this event possible. An event like this is particularly important because its role in reminding us of the substantial reasons we have as a people of Kenya to be hopeful about the future despite the challenges we face. Old and familiar threats of war, conflict, insecurity, underdevelopment, famine, disease, and crime have been joined and intensified by terrorism, transnational organized crime, pandemics, and climate change. Consequently, states around the world are combating these threats to a great extent, with an increasing number struggling at enormous cost on livelihoods and economic development. Under these conditions, high rates of population growth have not only increased the number of citizens overall, many national populations of developing countries grow younger by the decade. Our continent now has the world's youngest population with a median age of 19, and 25 countries with the youngest median age are in Africa. What this means is that the youth are no longer just an indispensable component of society. They define the basic character of our nations and determine the direction and speed of our journey into the future. Depending on the effectiveness of the measures taken to prepare for the present and future, young people are likely to inherit the problems that bedeviled older generations and struggle under their worsening impact. This is the essence of the two contrary perspectives of Africa's youth phenomenon. On one hand, there are opinions which see in the population explosion the threat of serious instability on account of having too many young people who are unemployed and vulnerable to various socioeconomic, health, security, and climatic shocks. To this school of thought, the young people represent a ticking time bomb, which will explode sooner or later into a myriad of acute socioeconomic and political problems. On the other hand, there are perspectives which see in the youth a stronger capacity for effective harnessing globalization, innovation, and leadership in newer, more positive directions. Contrary to the youth bomb perspective, this standpoint perceives the runaway budding of our population as a singular opportunity to harness a demographic dividend by utilizing the youth as an agent of harmony and stability, frontline actors in combating various threats, drivers of greater productivity and intensified competitiveness. Both perspectives are right. If we carry on with business as usual and neglect the imperative of taking extraordinary measures to transform our economies in order to give millions of young people a better chance to build stronger nations, we will definitely have a serious crisis in our hands. The difference between the two scenarios depends on how intentional, how ambitious, urgent, and futuristic the development agenda is. It is clearly evident that for a few decades now, Kenya has been firmly and emphatically committed in investing significantly in a future that will exploit the demographic dividend to drive national development agenda. This is for a while now. Primary education has been free of charge, with huge subsidies in secondary education and even university education under the bottom-up economic transformation agenda. The bottom-up economic transformation agenda will not implement itself. On the contrary, our best chance of actualizing the Kenya we want in social, economic, political, and even cultural terms is by wasting no opportunity in equipping our young people with the skills and capabilities that are not only competitive and relevant in the current global market, but also firmly aligned with the imperatives of the radical transformation of our economy. Our review of the CBC, increase of teachers, infrastructural expansion of learning facilities, development of technical and vocational education and training institutions throughout Kenya represent one side of the positive interventions aimed at securing the greatest share of youth dividend to power national growth. The other component of these measures are strategic interventions set out in the bottom-up economic transformation agenda in order to significantly enhance the productivity of labor across 5 priority sectors, create millions of jobs for young people over the next 10 years, provide necessary infrastructure and support for them to engage in innovation and creation, as well as other forms of employment in the digital economy. The National Youth Service is not just a witness and a participant of our bold intention to enlist the youth as the leaders and drivers of Kenya's transformation. It is an example of a dedicated program for empowering our youth for a lifetime of service across all sectors. This organization has re-emerged to become a highly trusted incubator of disciplined, self-motivated, skilled, productive youth who continue to make significant contribution to the success of various entities in both public and private sectors. I think the examples given by Minister Kuria in the collaboration with various state departments speak volumes of the capacity and the potential of NYS to power the transformation of our country. Thanks to the dynamism of the National Youth Service, the graduates of this institution are much admired, effective workers in every field, from agriculture to national security and administration, as well as building and construction, research, development, and innovation. Because of the rationalization of learning pathways in tertiary education, a number are also finding themselves on their way to careers in highly competitive domains. Recognizing the place of youth in national transformation in general, and that of NYS in powering the plan in particular, we have embarked on a strategic re-engineering of the National Youth Service to enhance the capacity of the institution to take up greater numbers of trainees, position it on the path of financial sustainability through revenue generation, thereby creating the conditions to support the expansion of enrollment to 100,000 young people annually in the next 5 years. Let me repeat that this year, we are graduating 10,000 young people from this field. Next year, in the first cohort, it will be 15,000. In the next cohort, it will be 15,000. So next year alone, 30,000 young people from across Kenya will graduate from NYS as we position NYS as the incubator for all other arms of government. And let me report here that when I was here last year, I did commit that we were going to include the National Youth Service in the review of salaries and working conditions of both the police, the prisons, and I committed that we are going to include the NYS, and we did. Let me confirm that as the report was presented to me and to government, National Youth Service, beginning the next financial year for 3 years, their salaries will be increased by 40% going into the future. Let me also confirm that I have approved the modernization and the re-engineering of National Youth Service so that in February next year, we will have an additional 200 cadets that will be trained to enhance the capacity of National Youth Service to train more servicemen and women as we use NYS to grow the pool of young people that are job ready, that are ready to take up responsibilities in different sectors. Additionally, another 500 servicemen will be trained to join staff of the National Youth Service, again in the effort to ensure that National Youth Service has the men, has the women to assist NYS train more young people. Vile tutakuwa tunaongeza wale watakuwa wanakuja hapa NYS, na nimesema ya kwamba kuanzia Februari mwaka unaokuja, hawa vijana kutoka Kenya mzima, namba yao itaongezeka kuwa 15,000. Enrollment ya mwezi wa 8 mwezi ujao, mwaka ujao itakuwa 15,000 ingine, na polepole kwa miaka 5 tutakuwa na vijana 1,100 kila mwaka watakao shiriki katika mafundisho ya National Youth Service. Vile vile nimesema ya kwamba ili kutumia NYS as an incubator, the National Security Council has decided that going forward, all security recruitment, 80% of all security recruitment will be from the National Youth Service. Wale vijana wote sasa tumeamua kama baraza la usalama katika taifa la Kenya kwamba wale wote watakaoajiriwa kwa jeshi la Kenya, kwa polisi wa Kenya, Kenya Forest Service, Kenya Wildlife Service, 80%, 80% watakuwa hawa vijana ambao wamefuzu kutoka National Youth Service. Vile vile tumekubaliana ya kwamba National Youth Service katika ile harakati ya kupanga vijana watakaoenda kufanya kazi katika nchi ya nje. Already we are concluding negotiations with Germany. We are concluding negotiations with Saudi Arabia. We are concluding negotiations with another 8 countries on export of labor. And the National Youth Service is going to be the central organization for pre-deployment training so that Kenyans understand what they need to do when they go out for work as labor that is exported from Kenya. Let me also confirm that as part of the modernization of National Youth Service, which we have agreed will be underway, NYS is going to participate in many fields in making sure that they support civil works, as has been said, in the housing program and in many other programs, in dam desilding and many other programs. NYS is also going to participate meaningfully in growing food around Kenya because they have the capacity to do it and they have done it in a very exemplary way. We are going to enhance and modernize the equipment that NYS have. As part of that modernization program, the negotiations I had with Prime Minister Modi last week of the $250 million US dollars that we negotiated for agricultural mechanization, 50 million or 7.5 billion Kenya shillings is going to be made available for agricultural mechanization of the National Youth Service. I am therefore instructing the Minister, Moses Kuria, to liaise with Minister Professor Ndungu to facilitate the expedition and expeditious plan to make sure that NYS benefits from the facility that we negotiated last week with the government of India. The strategic plan covering 2023-2028 identifies the appropriate business model and governing framework to deliver the ambitious objectives of re-engineering framework that was developed by the National Youth Service leadership in conjunction with a multidisciplinary team of experts led by the University of Nairobi. It is important that the National Youth Service doesn't just offer theoretical and practical training within its campuses, but it also tests its output in the marketplace in order to constantly improve its relevance and competitiveness while generating revenues to sustain its programs. I welcome the suggestion by the Governor of Nakuru to work with the National Youth Service in your TVETs and in your vocational training colleges. We will make this facility available for you or your facilities so that we can use this facility to support your TVET and your vocational institutes. Already, the National Youth Service re-engineering blueprint is bearing fruit. The service has already expanded the acreage under food cultivation to support the food and nutrition security component of our agenda, from 1,600 to 2,500 acres already under production. The National Mechanization Program under the Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development is an opportunity to enhance the activity in the Mavoloni and other river field units after the completion of the mega dams intended to supply a total of 1 billion liters of water for irrigation, among other uses. And I look forward to looking at that plan, and I look forward to being brief about the development of that plan so that we can support it and actualize what NYS has planned to achieve. Similarly, it is commendable that the infrastructural expansion of NYS itself is relying on its internal skills and capacities. The construction of the Yada Field Unit will, for instance, use over 80,000 interlocking building blocks in building 6 new classrooms by February 2024. As a result, the Advanced Building School will be able to relocate from this campus to Yatta, thereby creating space for additional recruits, as I said, for the next cycle of recruitment. I congratulate the National Youth Service for completing the development of infrastructure which had remained stalled for many years. Barracks with capacity of 700 people, together with classrooms which accommodate 150 trainees, each have now been completed, and with the fabrication of 10,000 beds by the NYS Engineering Institute, the service will now be able to increase recruitment, as I said, from 10,000 to 15,000 at the next intake, as we embark on the journey to ultimately expand capacities of NYS. For its part, the National Youth Service Mechanical and Transport Branch continue to drive self-reliance through the promotion of efficiency in the management of vehicles, plant, and equipment to profitably serve trainees and other stakeholders. For example, trucks and excavators have been leased out to the East African Portland Cement Company to support mining operation, and similar arrangements have been implemented in Machakos, Makueni, Elgeyo Marakwet counties, among others. I take this opportunity to also highlight the outstanding contribution of the service to the National Tree Planting and Landscape Restoration Campaign by propagating 35 million seedlings in various field units across the country, planting 10 million of these and making the balance of 25 million available for sale to various public and private sector entities. It is commendable that the service has committed the revenues generated from this exercise to the propagation of 3 tons of seeds of assorted species to the tune of 50 million seedlings by June 2024. Elsewhere, the NYS is collaborating with the State Department of Interior to desilt the tributaries of River Nyando and clean canals connected to it in order to prevent flooding during heavy rains. This program has now been extended to Nyakach, where dikes are also under construction with the same objective. Further, the service has now developed a mature and effective collaboration with the National Police Service in crowd control, securing strategic installations, the provision of emergency response services, including at the Integrated Communication Command and Control Center that is now very useful even as we manage the El Nino challenge. These examples demonstrate how busy the NYS is in meeting the great demand for its capacities in many sectors, and therefore its emerging role in taking our young men and women to the center of productive involvement in national transformation. The National Youth Service, ladies and gentlemen, therefore provides an eloquent answer to how Kenya has approached the youth question. We are systematic, intentional, and determined to succeed in equipping our nation's young people with capabilities and capacities to contribute effectively to the radical socio-economic transformation of our country by developing their knowledge, skills, talents, and abilities to make sure that not only is every single Kenyan youth productive, but that they are competitive enough to hold their own anywhere in the world. Every day, through consistent investment, robust strategy, and deliberate implementation, we bring the nation closer to the abundant fruits of our young and youth dividend. With our youth, our investment in the future is secure, and our capacity to confront the daunting challenges of today and tomorrow is strong. The National Youth Service is therefore an iconic institution whose entire identity represents the power of our national values in action, the promise of reimagining Kenya's nationhood irrevocably anchored in our national values and our capacity to face a complicated and uncertain future with a lot of confidence. This graduation ceremony is therefore a milestone in NYS's journey to mobilize young Kenyan men and women to make their full contribution to the transformation of our economy, and a compelling demonstration of the Kenya's limitless promise when youth are equipped to lead the way into the future. I congratulate the National Youth Service community in its entirety for this achievement, and especially the tutors and parents who have engaged the trainees directly and continuously, motivating and supporting them to stay the course and do their best. I also commend and congratulate the graduates for completing their courses and taking a major step in getting ready to make Kenya a shining example of youth-driven transformation. I wish you great success, young people, and God's abundant blessings in the journey ahead as you proceed to forge a winning path for yourselves, your families, your communities, and our great nation, Kenya. Nawatakia baraka za Mungu katika safari yenu mkikamilisha hapa. Sasa mtaenda katika National Youth Service itself, na tunataka mafunzo mliopata hapa na pale mbele mtapata training katika sehemu mbalimbali, katika vitengo mbalimbali, ujuzi wa aina nyingi. Sote tutashirikiana pamoja na nyinyi. Asanteni sana na Mungu awabariki. God bless you. Thank you very much.
Basi baada ya shangwe tatu kwa Mheshimiwa Rais, ni wakati wake mkuu wa gwaride hili kuja mbele ya Mheshimiwa Rais kumwomba idhini ili apate kuliondoa gwaride lake uwanjani. Basi mshapata idhini kutoka kwa Mheshimiwa Rais ili apate kuondoa